In this case, even though my client had already undergone 2 laser sessions prior to meeting me, we decided for one more session, especially around the hairline zone, to soften the darker and blotchy hues of blue and green pigment. The biggest challenge with someone who has laser procedures is that you need to know how to navigate and steer so you can avoid the landmines, if you will, because in this scenario, incorrect pigment placement will make the new deposits mix with the existing hues of blues and greens, which is not what we want. So here's what I did. The first step is to adjust the hairline. We want to leave at least half to an inch of distance between the new pigments and the existing ones, so we could create the most natural outcome. Indeed, we also want to take other things into account, like facial structure, head shapes, and of course, client feedback, which is why we opted for an angular M-shaped hairline with the pigment deposits broken or jagged to highlight his unique characteristics. Next, to better understand the affected skin, with the hues of blues and greens, I used my blue blocker shades to map out the color spectrum as I learned the correct spacing and volume to match the client's follicular pattern. Then, for a more detailed perspective, I used magnifying glasses to complement the blue blocker shades. I also added brown to mitigate any potential hues. For the first session, I decided to leverage a 60-40 split between pointillism and strokes to cover the scalp more intricately. I also selected a shade that would heal about 60% lighter than the client's follicular color, while using the 0.8 needle to complement his follicular shape and size. Second session, it was all pointillism. I opted for the smaller 0.4 needle with a shade that was 50% darker than the session prior to create texture and shape that flowed naturally with my client's follicular pattern. Third session was all about fine tuning. The 0.6 needle was perfect for this, and so was the shade that was about 20% lighter than the session prior to balance the 2 pigment shades prior.